Hey guys, welcome back to
Real Scenario
in 2025.
Oh yeah.
New year, new me.
New Year, same me. Getting better though. Getting better though. I like myself in 2024.
That's good.
Yeah.
I did too.
I just want to keep.
We enhancing.
Yeah, we just taking it up notch by notch by notch by
Do
notch.
you have resolutions? Is that a thing anymore?
Nah, that's not a thing. I think it's. I mean, I'm not mad at anybody that does it. I just sometimes think it's a lot of pressure and it's lofty. But I do think you should always set intention to do better and accomplish certain goals, and that shouldn't only come at the top of the year changes. So certainly, always things I want to accomplish, things I want to get better at, and tomorrow is a new day to try it. That I don't have to wait until January 1st or Monday. Or all that's just psychology.
Yeah.
Like you people, I'm starting my diet on Monday. It's like you can start tomorrow. You don't have to wait till Monday.
Are you a daily reset person or are you like a top of the week reset person?
It just depends.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. So sometimes it's a monthly reset. It just depends on what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
I'm definitely more like a weekly reset person. Like I'm getting better at it actually when it comes to certain things. But sometimes like if my week got messed, if I was gonna commit to do something the whole week and then Wednesday got messed up, then I'm like, Monday.
It's going to be Monday. That's what I was just talking about. It's like you can actually just reset tomorrow. You do not have to throw the next 4 days in the trash.
Yeah,
or the next. You like, yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
it's
Monday
over.
We'll get back to it.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I think everybody should do it the way that's best for you. You should know yourself best. And little by little is my way. So it just depends on what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch Beyonce's performance on
Did
Christmas?
I ever? I've seen it more than once at this point.
She's pretty incredible.
Isn't she something else? That lady is something else. I here's the thing, to y'all that don't like her, I don't care. This is the thing, we don't care. It's too many of us that do, and we don't care.
But she like that one person that's like great, but it gotta be annoying at the same time. It's like if I got the Super Bowl, I'm like, I got like what that was the Super Bowl. That's a performance that like
yeah, it's the Beyonce Bowl. It's just hard.
It's like hard
somebody
to follow something like that.
This
You know
is
what
what somebody
I mean?
said about her, right? Like it's her at this point. She can't not do that. Like that's
Yeah.
It's impossible.
She couldn't just come up and just do it.
No, she's too far past that. And so they're just certain people. Like you knew that at a point in Michael's career, it was always going to be spectacular. He can't not be that. It can just be spectacular 1, spectacular 2, spectacular 5, but it's always going to be at a minimum spectacular. So, I mean, I've read so many like write-ups about it, like from her stylist to just other people on the team. They started working on that a year ago. Like when people think about like, oh, this might have just came out once she rolled out Cowboy Carter, and it's like not necessarily. Like orchestrating that level of a performance, you can't just do that in 60 days. That takes a long time, from costuming to rehearsals. This is how no one messes up. This is how steps are not missed or forgotten, because they've been rehearsing for a very long
Right, in that stadium.
Like literally in that stadium. Absolutely. So yeah, Beyonce she is her. And I heard someone talking about like, I wouldn't consider her like in the top 5 performers of all time. And I was like, those lists sometimes get tricky, but it's very hard for me to not place her there. Like,
I mean, so it's very hard to not put her in. You have to put her in there.
Yeah.
But I get the adjustment for the technology aspect. It's kind of like old movies. Like you watch Star Wars back in the day, it was the biggest thing ever. But like when you look at it now, you like, ooh, those effects are
horrifying.
horrible.
That is styrofoam. That ain't not. We could tell that's not the ship, but it's definitely styrofoam.
But it's like you had to account for that. So I think if Michael had the technology, right, or Janet had the technology, like people like that, then they probably would be able to give the same level of performance. Also, too, I know a lot of people saw Renaissance in person.
Yeah.
However, I watched the movie
Same.
with my wife, but Beyonce does an amazing job at playing to the camera. Like,
yes,
she performs knowing where the angles are, knowing where the camera is for each thing. So it's like, even watching from home, it's like you get a different, I'm sure the experience watching on television for that Christmas performance was probably even better than in person because it was geared towards television.
Yes. And again, that's a lot to remember. You are remembering the words to the songs, the repurposing of them for a live show, number one. So they're not even being done the way that you cut them on the albums. Dance steps, counts, and what's supposed to be happening with this song, remembering when to hit your mark for the audience that you're in front of and when to hit your mark for the camera. And these are human beings running the cameras. Like I saw one clip where like literally her and the cameraman were this far apart from each other passing and they did not touch. Like the cameraman and of course his guide, neither of them touched. And I mean, that is refined practicing.
Yes.
That's a lot of work, dude.
It is.
And then the people coming in, patting her face and giving her a little water while Shabuzi's right here, she over here. Okay. Like that's a lot of work. So I don't know how anybody could poo-poo on that lady.
All right, last thing on this, because I know people are probably entertained by this conversation anyways, but I'll bring it to an end soon. Who else, because we were talking about this on that day, who else out currently do you feel like could give that level of performance if they had to like put that together?
That's the problem. I don't know that who could do it all. There are people who could do it from the dance perspective with ease. Sierra, Victoria Monet, Tiana Taylor. They could do it like the hitting the camera marks, giving you all the moves. But would the vocal ability be as strong while doing that at the same time? Even if some of it is punching and lip syncing, to me, that's fine too. But I don't know who could do it in full totality and be extremely thoughtful about messaging. Because yes, this just looks like a pretty performance in all white, but there were so many references that gave nod to Black Americans and our contributions to country and rodeo and all of that. I don't know. I legit don't. I can't name one person. Can't. Maybe they're just undiscovered or it's untapped. I don't know. But yeah, somebody could give me the big voice and all of that, kill the vocals, but are they going to be able to? Nah, I doubt it. So that's why I put her in that top 5. Probably for me, maybe like 1 at this point in my generation, like a living person.
Yeah.
Because she has it all, the beauty, the stamina, the dance, it's just the family piece. Like your kid is up here. It's just, nope, I don't know nobody else. Who do you think?
Well, pulling that, when you mentioned all of that, like the references, that's tough.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to do that. And that takes, she's been in it for so long. But as far as like giving that level of performance that I think can execute just from a music standpoint, singing, dancing,
I know who you're gonna say.
All that. You know who I want to say.
Yes, your favorite, Bruno Mars.
My favorite. I feel like Bruno could do it.
Yeah.
It would look different, but
Certainly.
I feel like he is capable of dancing at a high level. And singing, vocals still sounding well, and energy. Like it's gonna feel like a party. Like I feel like you could listen to Bruno's music just like with Cowboy Carter or even Renaissance. It's like you didn't really have to know the music to enjoy the performance.
Right.
Like it was just a vibe, right? And I feel like Bruno's music is like that too. It's like you don't have to even know the song, but when it come on, you'd be like, oh, this is a vibe. This is a vibe, right? It feel like a party. So it will look different. I don't know how it would look, but I feel like he could bring an energy and a level that's
and he
like,
has. I mean, he definitely has, and it's it makes a lot of sense because they collaborated. Yes. It was really good.
And we know Usher is great too. It's different. But Usher is great too.
Because I think he leans so much on sex appeal. Yeah. Beyonce's sexy and she looks sexy when she's dancing, but it's not like, like Usher's is very sexy.
And we know the music too. Like I feel like that plays a part in it. Like there's a attachment to that. Like who knows when Beyonce might sing Say My Name or all that, like Crazy in Love again. Like
please don't. No shade, but I don't want to hear no more.
We may not see it, like we may not hear that for maybe the last,
the last residency, whatever the finishing act is. Not act 3, but like when she's really done, like when she's 70, maybe
we might hear all of that. Like, but outside of that, it's like we ain't hearing that no more. But I feel like with a lot of artists, the nostalgia of their old music plays a part in our feeling about their performance. But with her, she don't even need that.
Nah, she doesn't.
So shout out to
Mrs. Carter.
To be she killing it.
You did that thing, girl.
Well, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, welcome. You want to join the Real Lover gang? Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do all the things to join us. It's free to you, but it means a lot to us. Welcome back to all our Real Lovers, and we got some new things coming. Some great, exciting news. We have some shows coming back. So Bri and I are being more consistent with our Worth the Wait and Smiths on Demand. For the Girls is coming back this quarter too. So we know a lot of people were interested and loved that show. So that'll be coming back too in a new and exciting way. And then Rhonda and I are going to be changing to doing this thing virtually, and the main reason is for our real lovers, so we can interact. It's going to be like a live show that we're going to do virtually, so that we can hear y'all comments in real time. There'll be more news about that, but one of the most exciting things that kind of brings us all together is that we're going to be launching a Relationship Restore community in February. So we're really excited about that, because it's a way for all of us to connect with each other, to extend this conversation outside of just what we talk about on this show, but all aspects of our relationships, whether you're single, a couple, dating, focusing on self, dealing with family things. Like it's a place to really build community. And the important thing about community is that it's not always just about learning. It'll be about fun. It'll just be about fellowship. It'll be about meeting new people. So we're just really excited to be launching these new things in 2025. So make sure you go to the site to sign up and join the wait list for the community, so that you can be a part of that once it launches.
It's going to be a happy new year for real.
Happy new year for real.
Yes.
And
I'm so excited.
You'll come on and be a real lover. So I want to read a real lover review, a new one. This is from Coach Coco.
Hey, Coach Coco.
Your words resonate. When I was single, one of my girlfriends shared your podcast with me, and I've been addicted ever since. You two have so much sense about you. Thank you for sharing your thinking with the world. I love that. So much sense about it.
I love that too.
Today at 41 years old, I am in a loving monogamous relationship with a kind and caring man, and we are building our lives as one. One specific episode, Rhonda says something I will never forget. To paraphrase, she said, "No one will be out here in the world loving on my man more than me.
That's it.
He will get the most kind and sweetest version of me. I've decided to live by that philosophy, and it makes our love so special. Thank you both for your measured tone, your listening ability, and your powerful storytelling. Keep rocking." Coach, go.
Damn, you thought we paid for that one. That's good, girl.
Good.
Yes to all the thank you for the very kind things you said about us. But more than anything, congrats on being in a loving monogamous relationship with a kind man.
Coach,
oh my goodness. Coach, call me. Tell me what you did, girl. Where you meet him at? Because one thing I'm not going into 2026 with is myself by myself. It's not happening. This is it. This is it. She's done. She's done being by herself. Okay, that was amazing. That was really, really good. We also have to give a shout out.
EJ?
Yes, to EJ and Brittany.
Yes.
Who are real lovers. Brittany's been a real lover from day one, since the beginning. I don't think Brittany's missed an episode. And what's so crazy, before we tell you what happened with them, I love it that Brittany, when she met EJ, told EJ, "Hey, check this out."
Yeah.
You cool and all, and I like what we got going on. What we gonna have to do is you gonna have to listen to this podcast. If you want to be with me, girl, we gonna have to listen to this podcast.
For sure.
I love that she made that almost like a requirement, and it was a welcomed requirement, and helped keep them together and grow their relationship. And on Christmas Day, they got engaged.
They did.
Ooh, congratulations.
We are so happy for them.
We are so happy for y'all.
So happy.
Seriously. And like, to email us on Christmas Day, I was in the spa like, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is why we do what we do. This is why we do what we do.
I
Seriously,
love it. Rhonda had a moment.
I did.
She had a moment.
I did. I literally, I was like, I DM'd her like, "Here's my phone number. FaceTime me." And we talked on the phone for a little while. So it was amazing. So congratulations to y'all.
Whenever we get that message that says she said yes, like it just makes us so happy.
Send them more. Send more, please. Okay.
And it'll be dope because once we go virtual, you'll be able to we'll
Yes.
have a time for you to share that experience and talk, to us a little bit about it.
That would be so good.
Yeah.
That would be so good. We love, obviously. Look how excited we are about it.
Yes, we do.
That's amazing. Thank you, Coach Coco.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, girl.
And I appreciate everybody who gave their Christmas recommendations for the movies that they liked and their favorite Christmas song. Like some people, a lot of people gave their feedback on it. So it was like,
that was fun.
It was fun.
Definitely fun. Christmas was wonderful. All the holidays were wonderful. We got some well-deserved rest as well. So it was all good. But you ready to jump into our scenario?
I am ready.
We hear from a gentleman this week. Y'all know how I feel about that. If you don't know, you're new here. I love when the guys write in because it doesn't happen that often. But he is anonymous, but what I love is that he's writing from South Africa. Shout out to that. And says that I'm a big fan of your channel. My love scenario is a bit complex. 4 years ago, my ex asked for space, which led to our breakup. She said, I want to enjoy my 20s. I'm not ready to be in a relationship, despite the fact that we had dated for 5 years. So I let her go. During the time we have been broken up, I was the one helping her with her finances and life in general. Whenever she needed any kind of help, I was there for her. Every time I wanted to see other women, however, she became very jealous. Recently, I reached out to her hoping we could potentially try again. Her response was, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I'm still confused about what I want. Now, I'm hoping you can help me with this issue. Since I'm always there for her financially and helping her in her life, I want to know if I should now cut all ties, let everything be, and move on with my life. Thank you for writing in, Mr. Sir.
Thank you for writing in. Thank you for writing in.
We appreciate you.
Where we want to start, Rhonda?
Why? That's really my.
Why?
Yeah. Tell them.
Tell them that it's human nature. Why?
Why you doing them this way, girl? Why you doing them this way? It just made me a little sad reading it. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It made me sad because I just hate to hear somebody being in a situation where, to me, to you, we read this and saw like obvious game playing going on here, and it's nothing wrong with her feeling about not wanting to be in a relationship at this time, but it is the really unhealthy connection that is making him probably feel less than, because he's just kind of being used for what he can contribute to this person's life without getting the benefits of it. So I don't know, it just hurt my feelings. It hurt my feelings for him.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you're going through this, because I know that it's an emotional thing, an emotional feeling.
Sure.
One thing I never understood is that if you were with somebody and throughout that time that you were with them, at the conclusion of you being with them, they decided that they wanted to take a break or wanted to part ways, why do you think that continuing to do stuff like you are with them is going to make them want to get back into a relationship? Y'all were already together and you were already doing the things.
Yeah.
And they decided to still step away. So subconsciously you think you got to do better or do more in order for them to be in a relationship with you. It's like, no, they were already in a relationship with you. They experienced it and decided that's not what I want right now.
Yep.
So you doing more of that stuff isn't going to make them be like, oh man, you know what? I'm seeing it. And now I'm just going to go back. It's different if you like were friends with somebody and you didn't do things in that way, and then you stepped up and start doing more relationship things. That would be one thing, but you are already in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had an episode early on about breaks and that in general, we don't really believe in them. If someone says they want a break, it is truly a breakup. And in what he wrote, he says, okay, it started as a break, but then we basically broke up because it's not real. It would be different if he said that they were together for 5 years, like in what sounds like a committed relationship. And then there was a break. It wasn't like, oh, I never wanted to be in a relationship, and so we had just been kicking it for 5 years and we had been going in and out of this kind of loose situation or a situationship, where then it got to a place where it was like, we've been kind of kicking it for 5 years. Do you want to be together? And then she said, nah, I actually kind of just like it like this. No, like we go from commitment to I need a break. No, you want to break up, and let's just use that language and call it what it is. But I agree with you, being tethered to someone in any way, when you are supposed to be broken up is not healthy, let alone using your actual resources that you work very hard for, like your money and your time, to give to someone. Not only is time money is time. It goes both ways. So giving someone access to you is a problem. Like talking on the phone with them and texting with them or spending time with them outside of a dynamic that like you don't really want is a problem. But then taking your money and being like, oh, she needs help, she needs to pay a bill, she needs this, she needs that. Why would you take care of someone that's not taking care of you? Like what you want is emotional care and concern. You want someone that's going to commit to you and give you their word in that way, so that you feel comfortable about giving them the same and anything else that comes with you, like your money. So it's just a dangerous game. And I think a lot of times people get stuck in this situation because they fear loss and they fear that they won't restore. Like if I really cut this off, I'll never get this person back. And as you said before, it's like y'all act like that's the last one God made or something. Like there's no other human on the planet that could be a better fit for you.
The thing that's tough for people is that when you, and this is just human nature, when you set your mind on something and you build this picture or idea, something in your mind of what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, how it's going to behave and act in the future, once that thing can no longer come to pass, it's very tough dealing with that. I've talked about it before. It's grieving.
Yeah.
It's grieving what you thought that relationship might be. It's grieving the person that you thought they were. It's like, it's a tough process, and some people have trouble letting go. And the issue with this is like, normally you grieve a loss, but in this, you're grieving what could have been, but you also still have some access to it. So you're still trying to get a piece of it, even though it's not like there anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and it's not the same thing, but I remember, you know, when my dad passed away, or my dad was dealing with health issues before he passed away, they brought me into a room and they were like, you know, we tried everything that we could, you know, we did all the different things. At this point, there's nothing left we can do. Either, you know, we can keep him on the assisted breathing, and essentially he'll just be a vegetable.
Yeah.
And he'll be here. How functional his brain may be, all that
quality
stuff.
Of life
quality
is
of
not
life,
there.
we don't know. Or we could take the tube out and see if he can breathe on his own, right? Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. He wasn't able to do that, and that's when he passed away.
Yeah.
But that decision, which was something that him and I had talked about before, was like, I don't want some altered version that I can't really experience you.
Yeah.
Right? I want the full version of you. And if I can't have that, I'm not going to hold on just for my own selfish reasons of a version of you that's not ultimately who you are. And really getting to experience you how I would like to experience you, but also how I know you would like to experience me.
Yeah.
And although that's a little bit heavier, it's kind of the same thing as like you are trying to hold on to something, a version of something that is no longer what you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's like you need to let go. Like she's already let go.
Yeah.
Right? She's already let go. You now need to let go because ain't nothing in this going on is on her. Nope. She communicated to you, I do not want to be in a relationship. I want to enjoy my 20s. That's clear. But if you're going to keep paying for stuff, listen, let me tell you something right now. I want to enjoy my 20s. I'm not ready to be in a relationship. Let me tell you what a lot of women do in their 20s. They do exactly this. They single, they find men who will pay for things, and they enjoy their life. She is enjoying her 20s on your dime. That's exactly what she did. She just switched
and possibly other dimes.
And possibly other dimes.
Yes.
Ask a lot of women in their 20s. That's exploring, not being tied down. That's what it is. It's a lot of getting stuff paid for.
That's it. It's you ain't lying now. I can't. That's what she said, and that's the age group that she's. You should take her for her word. And based on the fact that is pretty much all you're getting out of it, that has to be the truth. You know, I want for more people to really understand that. So I think there's some confusion that happens, right? When you get in a situation where a person keeps engaging with you, even though they are unwilling to commit to you, right? So they keep calling, they keep asking for things, they need help with this, that, and the third. It creates this thought in your mind that they do need you, or they do want you. They do. They because why else would they? They could just call somebody else. Well, the cost of admission here is free. I don't actually have to pay to get into this particular party. I don't have to pay to get into this club. The barrier to entry is practically nothing. So it's not so much about a want and a need. It's about the ease of access to you. And in your case, sir, the access to your resources. I think that we sometimes are under the impression that people are as good as we are. They have the best intentions, like we might have for ourselves or others, that they would not use or manipulate people because we don't use or manipulate people. But the truth of the matter is there are bad people out here who do not live at the same levels of a moral code or ethics code that other people do. They will, in fact, use you for what you are willing to provide, because it's not like she's stealing it. You're giving it to her. And so if you don't require anything to get access to you, or access to your money, or access to whatever you can provide, you can't exactly be, I'm not excusing her behavior, but you can't exactly be mad at anybody who is just taking what you're giving them. They're not taking something that you're not willingly giving to them. And so stop that trickery in your head of thinking that, oh, because they're here, they truly want me. No, they want whatever you're providing to them, whether that's phone time, sex time, money, whatever it is. They may not want anything to do with you truly. They just want what you're giving to them.
It is just human nature. That when you set a certain level and expectation for things, that is what you expect, and anything that goes away from it, it's like, what? Like, even if it's something you were doing something wrong in the beginning and then it changes to the right thing, it's still hard to adjust. I remember, like, I was talking to my wife one time, and she was talking to some friends about getting a table. She was like, I ain't never paid for a table in my life. Like, and it's like, yeah, you probably should be paying for tables, but you've been in situations so much where you can access all the benefits of it without paying.
That's right.
So now when paying does actually have to happen,
I'd rather go home.
You like, nah, I'm good.
I don't need that.
I'm good.
I see a couple seats at the bar.
Right?
Let's sit over there.
So it's like, that's the same here. It's like, why would somebody pay for access to something that they've been having for free?
That's it. And what's funny about that sometimes, unfortunately, and I know a lot of us can relate to this, they will go somewhere else and pay to get into that party. And I ain't talking about an actual party.
Yeah.
They will go and meet another person. Other person has boundaries and requirements of reciprocity or whatever is necessary, and they'll shape up in that situation and be like, you know what, because this was required. And yes, again, we should all get to a certain level of maturity where no matter what the other person does, we hold ourselves to a certain level of accountability. But because everybody doesn't function like that, and you don't actually always know who is and who is not, that those boundaries that we're supposed to have and create, they are there to protect us. It's less about the fringe benefit is it keeps the bad people out.
Yeah.
But the true purpose of it is to protect something that you cannot handle, because the pain that's going to now come from, we're not going to technically skip to the end, but you should know that the end of the story is you should cut all the ties with this young lady.
Yes.
But the pain that's now going to come from you doing that is simply because you didn't have boundaries. So it's going to hurt you more than anything.
Yes.
She'll be fine. I am sure of it. In her 20s having a good time. She'll be just fine. She'll get the $100 or the $500 or the $2,000, whatever you giving her. She'll figure out how to get that.
Yeah.
She will.
And she gonna learn all the lessons. She gonna learn some stuff wasn't right to do. That's 20s, right? It's like the whole, like, I don't want to bring this up because it's kind of old, but the whole Travis Hunter with his girl and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dog, he like 20. Like, let him be a 20-year-old. If he make a mistake, he make a mistake. Like we all have when we was 20. Like,
that's it.
Like, just let that man be. He's young. Just let him make a mistake. So let her do her thing, make her mistakes. She might end up regretting it. It's very possible because she's in her 20s figuring things out.
Yeah.
But just let it run its course. Like, I know what you want, and you doing what you're doing is not going to get you what you want. The only hope is that at some point she comes full circle, and you guys meet back up, not because you were waiting for her, but maybe because things aligned in a way to where y'all end up meeting back up, and then there's a maturity level that makes that make sense. That's the only way it's really going to actually work the way you want to, because if you want something and the other person doesn't, it's just not going to work. That's like the foundation of a relationship, being aligned on where you want to go and the commitment of the relationship. If that ain't there, it's not going to work. But I got another thing that I want to discuss, and because I know sometimes this is the mindset when it comes to things like this, and you've dealt with this before. I think on both sides.
Okay.
So I want to talk about this. Sometimes in these situations, first you have to understand that the decision that they made is their decision, and nobody else can convince them convince them not to move forward with their decision.
Right.
But I know sometimes from being in this position, you do things, especially being 5 years with that person or 4 years with that person, you do things to try to appeal to her board, thinking that if you continue to do nice things,
she'll come around,
that the board will convince her that
the group of friends,
that she did not make the right decision.
Right.
So you're staying around doing all the nice stuff, doing all the good things, so hopefully maybe she'll whisper back to them like, yeah, he's still doing this. Girl, I don't know why you need to, I don't know why you let them go. Or if you've been together that long, you probably know the friends. You may still send a message like, hey, you're awesome. Or like, hey, I'll make sure y'all do this. Or hey, here's some money. Y'all go have lunch or something like that.
Yeah.
You're hoping to appeal to the board to try to get the board to get the CEO to, get back into that partnership. But when they make that decision, ain't nobody talking about that decision. And guess what? They already talked to the board about it anyways.
Yeah. Yep. And here's the thing. Here's the tricky part about the board, right? Sometimes they have talked to the board about it, and the board is like, girl, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Like, the board is actually encouraging the bad behaviors. The board, they go in the same category that I just put her in. You don't know what their moral standards and their ethical standards are. You don't know those people. So you could think that they would, because in your face, they're like, oh, bro, we love you. Blah, blah, blah. But you don't know what's happening behind closed doors or in my group text with my girls. And then the other thing that you should also know is that sometimes people make decisions and do what they want without the consult of the board.
Very true. Because they kind of know what the board may say.
That's it. They know what's up. They like, you know what? I'm going to just do this mission by myself. I'm not even going to tell them. They ask about it. No, I don't talk to them no more. I'm da. Because they may have a friend that's going to be like, that's not cool, or you shouldn't do that to him. Let him go. He's a good guy. He wants to be with you. And they may not want to hear that. People do not always want to hear what's best or what feels like a chin checking. Like, I'm going to leave names out because I'm going to protect the innocent and the guilty. But a friend of mine was dating someone, and the person that they're dating said to me, as a podcaster who talks about relationships and gives people good advice on what to do and how to manage these, the person says, I don't think that you're having enough conversations with them, like, because they aren't doing what they supposed to be doing in this situation with me. And after being gently offended, I was like, here's what you should know. You should not think that just because I do what I do on my podcast, or even just as a good friend, that what I say goes. This person is an adult and they can do what they want to do. On top of that, I remember very early on when you first met this person, you asked me what was my advice for dating them. And I told you not to. So you and them don't listen. Nobody listens here. So it sounds like a match made in heaven to me, but you can't make that my responsibility. You cannot make the friends the devils in the situation, because no matter what the friends say or do, it's ultimately on the person to make the right decision. If your friends decide, you happen to have a great group of guy friends who hold a lot of the same standards as you. Mm-hmm. But if one day they all decided to go rogue and do things that they should not do in their relationships and their marriages, you can't go to Bree and be like, well, babe, everybody started cheating, so I cheated too. You know, like that's childish.
Gonna,
That's not, it's not gonna work. So you can't blame the friends. Like I've heard guys say, like, I don't like our friends because they hoes. What's that got to do with your girlfriend? What's it got to do with your lady? I get it. You may not want her to be exposed to their behaviors, but you're in a relationship with your person, and your person should be their own individual that can make the right decisions in alignment with what you all agreed to.
So I'm curious, you don't think that has any bearing?
Of course it can.
Okay.
Of course it can. Certainly I've been influenced.
I think it's more about the environments.
Yeah.
Like if you are hanging with a lot of single people who get down, what it's going to attract is going to be a lot.
And you do have to protect your ear gates, your eye gates. Yeah. I believe in that. Like even on your own, even if you don't have a bunch of friends, but you constantly watch certain things or you do certain things, it can be overly exposing you or heightening temptation in a place where it's not necessary. But we all have to be responsible for ourselves. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned in like my emotional development, that I have to stand on my own. I am going to be held accountable to what I did and the choices that I made. And it is going to be, even if we're talking about like Christianity, I can't get to the gate and be like, I did this because I was with the three of them and they said it was cool. And he's like, yeah, but me and you had our own situation. Me and you have our own relationship. Nothing about what they were doing should have had anything to do because you knew better. It'd be different if you didn't know or you were 5.
Yeah.
You give kids this type of grace because their brains aren't developed, they don't know, but we talking about 30-40-year-old people. Come on, because when you want to be, if somebody called you a follower, you'd be offended. I ain't no follower. I make my own decisions. It doesn't look like it, Linda. It looks like you're out here following your stupid friends. So you got to pick and choose it. And so the board can play a part, a good part or a bad part, and you just have to hope that you're the type of person that can stand on your square, no matter what people are doing around you, to not violate the agreements you have with the people you made them with.
Yeah.
Flat out. It's no other way for that. It's really not. So I want friends at this age that are going to be accountability partners. And I don't want anything less, but everybody isn't there. When I was 25, I did not care about that. I wanted friends with common interests and that like to shop and party, because that's all I cared about. Yeah. I didn't care about them being like, Rhonda, you tripping, sis. Now I need that. Yeah. I need people to be like, you got to step that up, or good job, or don't do that anymore because that's not cool. That's the type of relationships that I need in my life. And that's all I have in my life at this point.
Well, let me ask you this then, because I think this is a part of it. That the ability to experience life, whatever that means to you, right? It's typically said that men definitely have to experience more than women, but I guess your viewpoint, do you think that it's true that everyone needs to experience life? Or if you meet somebody who hasn't had as many experiences, is that truly like a ticking time bomb waiting to erupt because they haven't experienced quote unquote life or had the ability to have fun or be free? Or
Oh, that's a hard question for me because, my diplomacy kicks in where I can see how, yes, it's probably necessary that you do have some experiences before you fully commit and like lock down to something. But then there's also people that like just didn't need to do that and their lives are great. Whoever they're with, that's their first and only. That's the only relationship they've ever been in, and that's the only sexual partner they've ever had. They know nothing else. They don't care to know anything else. They're happy. They've been together for 20, 30 years. So I could see it being fine either way. But I do think that if you feel that feeling inside yourself, like if that thing goes off inside of you where it's like, I don't know if I really want to do this one person like right now, forever and ever, you should listen to it. Your body is absolutely telling you, you probably need to go and live a little bit. Because for other people, I don't think that comes up. I think there are other people that are like, nope. Living is being partnered. Living is starting this family at 25. Living is only having this one partner. This is my life. This is living. Living for them and living for them. 2 different types of living, and neither of them are necessarily wrong. Or also not necessarily a ticking time bomb, because everybody doesn't have that whole phase energy. Yeah. Like I gotta have that thing. Everybody doesn't have that. We're not a monolith.
Yeah, I think so. I think It's tough because I think it's not everybody has the whole phase like energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody has curiosity,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And how far you will go to figure out what something actually is varies on, based off of the person. But I think it's kind of tough where you don't know what you're saying no to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I'm in a relationship in my 20s and I'm not truly enjoying myself, but I've never tried to just like go have fun, not in a relationship, I'm unhappy in this relationship, but I'm staying in it, not even knowing what I could be experiencing on the other side.
Sure.
So it's like part of that is just like I need to figure out what this other thing is.
Yeah.
I need to explore. And I know for me it played a huge part in me being like, all right, I'm good. Like
yeah.
I tried it, I did all this, and I didn't even touch where some people have been.
Right.
I had a quick sprint of like it was a lot going on at one time, and it just didn't feel good and didn't feel like me. This is what I did because I heard somebody say this and I loved it. I decided to exchange pleasure for happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I decided to exchange something that can come and something that I can get from an action for a state of being. Right? And that's what I was chasing. Before I was chasing pleasure.
Yeah.
Work, do this, do that, and then find a moment to where it's like a super high.
Get a quick hit.
Right? But then when I sat that aside and decided to wait for marriage, I was in search for a state of being.
Yeah.
Which was happiness that's sustaining. But I just feel like you have to in some way experience your version of both.
Yeah.
In order to know like, all right, this is not what I want and this is what I want. So I think it's tough to to do that without being able to know what's behind curtain number one.
Certainly. I definitely just think it can vary person to person. I think more often than not, your experience and my experience is what is probably necessary for a lot of people, especially once we are exposed to lots of things. Like we get out in the work world or we start partying and you start seeing a lot. Again, but everybody's not a metropolitan city slicker who has that exposure. Some people still live in very small towns and they know all the people. It's one church, it's one Walmart. And so this idea of like getting it's not necessarily a thing for them. So I think it varies. And what's cool about what you said, that state of being, which was exchanging pleasure for happiness, that happiness essentially envelopes pleasure, because you certainly get pleasure through your marriage. It's just, this is my wife, and it's a sustained high. It's not this quick shot from a person that I don't know, don't care to know. Girl, thank you. See you later. Or not. You know what I mean? Like that's it. When you do it,
it's like layered on top of it. It's like a sundae with hot fudge
versus just a shot of whipped cream.
Right? It's like it's different.
Yeah.
It's like one thing is the base of it, and then it's just, like I said, the cherry on top.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to eat a big old bowl of whipped cream.
No.
A shot of it is cool. But ice cream with the whipped cream, with the cherries, with the sprinkles, that's way better. Yeah. It's got all the things that you really want. So I'm with you, and I am grateful, at least for me personally, that I did have certain experiences, not necessarily a whole phase, but I just experienced different things and learned a lot about how to be in a relationship, what to do, what not to do, what the man that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with probably needs from me. And now I can also articulate what I need from him. I would not have gained any of that knowledge without having a lot of the life experiences that I've had. That's why I've said many times on this show, as much as I thought I wanted to be married at like 25, and not that I would have been a bad wife necessarily, I know that I'm super confident now that I'm going to be like amazing. Like, God bless him. Y'all gonna see him bopping around. He gonna be a very happy man. You know what I mean? But I could have gotten there potentially while being married already. But now I'm super confident, that like it's not gonna be perfect, but I can hit it out the park most of the time. Yeah. So I had to live a little bit. And it sounds like that's what Miss Lady needs to do. But with that being said, she's gotta stand on her square, and you can't let her not. You can't allow her to dip in here, live this life with you, and then also live that life with herself and or the board. You can't allow yourself to be used and manipulated in that way, because that's really and seriously what it is. And the last thing I'll say on this, another downside to what you're doing is, I know for a fact that you are not putting enough effort into dating other people. One, because she poses that she's jealous when you do that. Another manipulation tactic. She could be legitimately jealous, but that's her business to keep to herself, seeing as though she's not your lady. But I know that you're not putting effort into dating anybody else because she still has her hooks in you.
Exactly.
Imagine me, if a man met me and say he's still paying the ex from 4 years ago's bills or helping her financially.
I'm like, alimony?
Was she married to you? Y'all don't have no babies together. You just helping her out the kindness of your heart. You either gonna cut it off or I'ma leave. It's not even an option. So no woman would even take you seriously with you doing that type of stuff.
Help her. You need to help her. She wants to experience life. You need to be the one that this is an experience in her life.
Kick her on out there to get it.
When you young, that's when you think you can have your cake and eat it too. Like that's when you think you can have both things.
And go ahead and get it.
When you're 20, you think you could do that. But once you get older, you realize, we got to make some choices.
Yeah.
I'm going to sacrifice.
In fact, I don't need no cake, actually.
Yeah.
Give me an apple. Yeah.
So you got to teach that lesson for, like, we all learned it in our 20s. It sounds like you are not in your 20s, that maybe you're older. Like, you got to let her experience that, and you got to be that experience. It's going to be a lesson.
Yeah, let her do it, please. As the amazing Mel Robbins said, let them. This what she want to do? Let her.
Yeah.
Let her do that. Don't you be a part of it, not one bit, because you have requirements. And if you don't, you need to get them.
You playing yourself.
Yeah. Tough love, which is also a rollout for 2025. We love y'all, and we always going to be, we going to have some sense about it, as Coco said. But sometimes that sensibility got to come with a little bit of a tap. It's got to come with a little bit of a little love shake. That little hug where you grab you and rock the sense into you. Yeah, we're going to have to bring some of that to y'all, because we want you to be better about taking care of yourself so that you can be a really great partner. That's it. That's really what this is about. If you don't take good care of yourself, you are not going to be good for anybody else. That includes not allowing people to play with you.
So what did he say was his last question?
Should he cut the ties?
I wanted to know if I should cut all ties and just let everything be and move on with my life.
Let her.
I got a message.
Message.
And it's for not only our real lover, but for anybody out there. So if you are getting any advice in your life, whether it's relationship advice or any other type of advice, career advice, life advice, health advice, I want you guys to understand that there are no absolutes in life, right? And because there are no absolutes in life, we need to look at things, stop looking at things like it's a yes or no answer to our question. We need to start looking at things like, what gives me the highest odds to achieve something? So when you ask, should you cut off all ties, think in the mindset not of yes, should you cut off ties, or no, should you not cut off ties. Think in the mindset of, this is what I want out of my life. What gives me the best odds? Because whenever you're looking for a yes or no, we can always find a situation to where it did work. Or we can always find a situation where it didn't work.
Very true.
So if you're looking at things in absolutes and asking for a yes or no, I'm never going to answer yes or no, because you could easily find something to debunk what I'm saying. But if you think of it in odds, because there are no absolutes, what gives me the highest odd or the best odds of achieving what I want? When you think about it like that, then that makes it easier to figure out what decision gives you the highest odds. Yeah, I know plenty of people who ride in a car without a seatbelt, but I guarantee you wearing your seatbelt gives you a higher odd of living if you get in an accident. But if you say, well, you died with a seatbelt on or not on, I can say yes or no, but then you can prove me wrong.
Because people have died in both.
Because people have died in both.
Certainly.
It's all about odds. So when we're talking about relationship advice, when we're talking about health advice, life advice, when you're looking to find an answer for anything that you're struggling with, don't look for yes or no answers. Look for, what am I trying to achieve? What gives me the best odds to achieve it? And when you look at it like that, that will help direct you to the answer that you're probably looking for. Mm-hmm. So, Mr. South Africa, what you want. Mm-hmm. And you can probably answer this yourself. What gives you the highest odds of getting what you want? Mm-hmm. And you need to make the decision that way. Our suggestion off of what will probably get the highest odds of what you want is letting that situation go.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for either one of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. And you've had plenty of time. Like you have a great case study period here. You've been doing this for, if I've read it correctly, in a relationship for 5 years, out of a relationship for 4 years. That's 9 years of time. If you don't have this young lady figured out, I'm not sure. But yes, everything that Dre said, weigh your odds. But come on, like come on now. But you could have had a wife by now. You could have potentially, the odds are that you could have potentially had a whole new lady going on down the aisle with her with that amount of time. 9 years is a lot of time. It's a lot of time. Even 4 years is a lot of time.
Everything is odds. You want to get past her? You want to get over her? I'll ask you, what gives you the best odds of doing that? Is it to keep staying connected to her, or is it to distance yourself and find your space and heal? What gives you the best odds of getting over her if that's the issue? Mm-hmm. Like, if you look at everything in that way, it will let you know, like, all right, I want the odds in my favor with everything that I do. Like, I want to, Rhonda and I were just talking about health stuff before this. It's not guaranteeing that if you eat this or work out like this, that you're going to live to 90 or 100, but you're just putting the odds
in your favor
of achieving that.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how we all need to look at life. It's not in absolutes, but what gives us the best odds to achieve the things we want to achieve. And that's how we should make our decisions.
Bingo. Bada boom, bada bing, babe. We hope that we were able to help you. And we would love an update. Please, please, please. Seriously. And I really appreciate you writing in.
Thank you.
I know it's not easy to be vulnerable sometimes as a man. And so, and just for your support from South Africa.
I've been in this situation before.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Same.
But I let them go. I let them go.
Not with my resources. But
No. But I've been in a situation where I was with somebody and then they told me that they wanted to like just, they didn't want nothing serious. And they wanted to just kind of live life. As a man, I know a lot of times, because I know a lot of times the dudes, we think like all women want like relationships. And I remember when I met the first woman who was like, no, I want you for your body. And that is it.
Take your clothes off.
Yes, that is it. Like, I do not want anything else. And boy, I was just like,
in fact, shut up. I don't want you for nothing but your body. So be quiet.
I was shocked because at that point in my life, I thought every woman wanted relationships. Like, if they like you and think you're attractive, they want to hold you down and be with you. No, she was like, nah.
I'm straight.
I'm good. And she was younger than me too, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, it's not very, this is what I mean. We're not a monolith. Everybody doesn't want the same thing. So I really appreciate your vulnerability and your support from South Africa. We wish you all the best. And if you have a scenario and you want our thoughts, opinion, and advice, you know where to go to the website, relationshiprestored.com. Click that contact button and write into the show. Or for the girls, because it's on its way back. So we are very, very, very excited about that. And follow us on social media. I'm at Ronnie Cakes.
That's Dre Smith.
And at Relationship Restored. We'll see you next time.
Peace.